Hey guys, Greg Silman here, Cios and Bowties for the weekly roundup of articles that you've all liked, and it's a crazy season behind me, so we've got the Capitol building. So let's go for it. The first article you all liked: study finds older adults using cannabis to treat common health conditions. It talks about a study that was conducted with 568 patients over the age of 60. 61% of them were using cannabis for the first time. This was detailed in the Journal of American Geriatric Society, and users say that cannabis works particularly well for pain, sleep disturbance, anxiety, and depression. The usage of cannabis for that age group is more likely to be topical, so creams, as opposed to smoking or edibles. That cohort also says that they're most likely to, or more likely to, tell their doctor that they're using cannabis. So that's interesting, because the stigma then around the use of marijuana is definitely lessening, especially in that age group. Second article, these are all articles in my favorite categories. Can crypto become a blessing in disguise for institutional investors? It speaks about Bitcoin particularly becoming a safe, or being a safe haven asset. Bitcoin was essentially up 18% from March to mid-August, so during the coronavirus sell-off and recovery, if you will. Paul Tudor Jones now reports 2% of his portfolio is being held in Bitcoins, and crypto hedge funds on average are showing performance of about up 20% year to date. MicroStrategy, a business analytics company, has announced that they bought $250 million worth of Bitcoin to keep primarily as a reserve asset. People are citing the increased regulation around crypto assets, and particularly the highest yet correlation with gold, as reasons to hold crypto assets as a safe haven asset. Next article: China's monopoly on rare earth elements and why we should care. Little known, with all the noise going on around the political debate, is an executive order that was signed by Trump probably about two and a half, maybe 3 weeks ago now, basically saying, or calling it a national emergency in our mining industry, saying that the industry is in dire condition and needs to be incentivized to create domestic production, particularly around rare earth metals. Now, you'll remember we spoke about this a few times, but China really has a monopoly on rare earth metals. They produce 77 or more % of the world's rare earth metals. And basically, America gave up the industry to China. A number of years ago, the Committee for Foreign Investments in the US agreed to sell Molycorp, which was our biggest US asset in rare earths. It was bankrupt at the time, but agreed to sell it to Chinese investors. Just to give you an idea, rare earth metals are very much used in high technology, specifically military hardware, as well as iPhones and other high-tech devices. An F-35 jet requires 920 pounds of rare earth metals, and the Virginia-class submarine requires 10 times as much of that. Just to show you how strategically important it is, in 2019, during the US-China trade war back and forth, Xi Jinping made a highly publicized trip to a rare earth mine in China, in Jiangxi. And of course, what he was saying was, we got this and you don't have it, US. So another important part is rare earth metals are actually quite abundant in the Earth's sphere, but it's the extraction process which is most difficult, separating. I think there's 19 of them. Some are heavy and some are light rare earth metals. Okay, final article: stress is bad for investing. So what do you do when there's no end in sight? By now, I think most of you know I'm really a sucker for behavioral finance. So what it says is that, we're under a little bit more stress now than we're used to, with the virus, with lockdowns, with masks, with, all that kind of stuff. Basically, it's just not good for complex decision-making to be under stress. It narrows your attention focus, and then you fall back on biases such as familiarity bias. So, something local to you, you're more inclined to use, or maybe recency bias. So tech has been doing well, so you buy tech as a result. It's also been proven that you see patterns that don't exist when you're under stress, and the body creates more of the hormone cortisol, which creates the fight or flight mentality, all of which is saying we make worse decisions when we're under stress. So what are we to do? So the first thing is to realize your state of mind. If you are hungry, angry, tired, or lonely, it's probably not a good time to be making an investment decision. Ways to get around it is to become more systematic. So have automatic rebalancing in your portfolio, or employ the use of stop loss orders. So great articles all around. Thanks everybody for voting and for liking. I hope you like them and you can see the links and follow along. So that's it for now. Greg Silberman out.